Listen guys, listen. There was one con, there was one disadvantage to having a long draw length, okay? Everybody with a short draw length, go ahead and roll your eyes now, because yes, a long draw length guy is about to complain. I'll tell you this, I shot Eastern Axis match grade arrows for probably the last 5 years. They never steered me wrong. They work beautifully. But recently I'm getting ready to go for a goat hunt, right? And one thing I know about these Oahu goats, they are small, frail creatures. They're just not very substantial animals. The bones aren't very dense. So I didn't really want to spend, I didn't really want the most expensive arrows being launched at them, because I know they're gonna blow through that animal, they're gonna hit the mountain, and they're gonna explode into a billion pieces. I'll never see that arrow again, okay? So I said, let me save a little bit of money. So I went with the Eastern Axis Standard, which were about $2 per arrow cheaper than my match grade arrows. So over a dozen arrows, that saved me $24. You know what? I'm like, how big of a difference can it really be going from match grade to standards? Here's what I learned, and here is what I've deduced. Okay, I can't do what all the short draw length folks do, and that's cut down, cut a major part off of each side of the arrow. The process, we've all seen the process. You spin the arrow on your arrow spinner, you see which side has the most wobble, and then you cut most of the length from the side with the most wobble, right? Therefore, you take a cheaper arrow and you make it act as if it's a more expensive arrow, right? Because we know the only difference between the match grade and the standards is what? It is that they're sorted better. So their straightness, the straightness tolerance on those match grades are 1/1000th of an inch. That's amazing. That's probably thinner than a piece of hair, if I had to guess, okay? You want these arrows perfectly straight, or as straight as possible. You're not gonna be able to do that if you don't go with the match grades, if you're shooting pretty much full length arrows, okay? So if you wanna be able to drop those long range bombs like you Steph Curry or Damian Lillard, straight arrows is the way to go. Therefore, match grade arrows are the way to go, okay? If you want those super tight groups, if you want easy broadhead tuning, match grade is the way to go, okay? Take it from somebody who tried the cheaper route and is back here on the match grade train, okay? Those standard arrows, they're still gonna be good for my pig hunts, so they're gonna get their use. The pigs, I can get them within 10 yards. I'm up in a tree in my saddle. Easy money, okay? Easy money. 10 yards, 15 yards, even 20 yards, that's perfect. But goat hunting is more of like a Western style hunt where you kind of got to reach out and touch something, yeah, standard arrows ain't gonna work for that. So I got 2 tips for y'all today. One of them, the first one I just kind of touched on it, that's buy once, cry once. Going the cheap route has never worked out for me. I always end up frustrated, and I always end up getting the product that I need. So now I'm out the money for the inferior product, and then the money for the superior product that I had to pay for, okay? So first tip, buy once, cry once, okay? The second tip, you bought once, right? Now you need to protect your investment. Now, one thing that will happen to me, let me show you an arrow. So this arrow is still perfect at the end. So are all the rest of them. The reason is I put iron wheel footers on all of my arrows, okay? So before I used to put the iron wheel footer, I call them footers. Iron wheel calls them impact collars. Before I started doing that, whenever I would blow through a target or be shooting a 3D course or maybe even hit an animal, these hidden inserts, right? There's nothing here protecting this carbon. So when it makes an impact, this tip would mushroom out, okay? Which means, you know what? I'm not shooting this arrow anymore. I don't want that carbon to end up exploding and have carbon splinters throughout my hand. So that would be an arrow that I can no longer use anymore, which would be super frustrating because I did all of the knock tuning, shooting the bare shaft through paper, turn the knock, okay, doing that until I get a bullet hole, marking the knock and the shaft with my Sharpie to make sure that I got a perfectly indexed arrow where all the nocks are in the same place, so all my arrows react dynamically, because you know that affects all the tuning process. All of that work, all of that money would be down the drain whenever this would impact something hard. So what I started doing is putting these iron wheel impact collars on them. So I went with the 10 grain ones because I don't really want to increase my weight anymore of this arrow. It's already 560 grains, around 15% FOC. But what it does is, oftentimes, because of that longer draw length, this heavy arrow, so all of that kinetic energy, all of that momentum, a lot of times when it's hitting these when it's hitting these targets, it just carries completely through the target. You get a pass through. And once that happens, you can't control what's on the other side of that target. So I was running through a lot of arrows simply because I was blowing through. I haven't had that issue, I want to say, in the last about year and a half since I started using. Basically, whenever Iron Wheel first came out with these, I switched to them, and it protected my investment. So first tip, buy once, cry once. Get the better arrows. If you don't know what the match grade is going to look like, it's going to have this symbol here signifying that these arrows have been sorted and they have the best straightness that Easton can possibly offer in a carbon arrow, okay? So please take that advice. I promise you it's good advice. I learned by paying too much money. And like I said, I know you shorter draw length folks out there, guys and girls, are rolling your eyes at me. Normally I don't complain. Please don't take this as a complaint. I just want to help one of my brothers or sisters not make the same mistake that I did, okay? If this video helped you at all, if it was entertaining at all right, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. When you subscribe, there's a bell icon that you can hit. That's gonna let you be notified anytime we drop a video. You'll be the first to know, okay? Share the channel. If you don't know how to spell it, it's Privileged, and I'm pretty sure you know how to spell bow hunter. We love y'all. Thank you. Bye.